Welcome to another episode of Wrestling with WorldWide Willis. And this podcast is brought to you by the LMG Podcast Network. All right, folks, today I am solo. They handed me the mic and, they're going to let me do my thing solo today. So, we'll hit the usuals, talk about a few things going on in the world, kind of my own observations I've had over the last week or even more. Some trends have been lasting a little longer than that. And then we'll also talk about our top five. Today, our top five will be top five dirtiest players in the game, right? Our top five best cheaters we have, right? Or that we have had in pro wrestling history. So we'll touch on that as well. As we know how this goes. So starting out, we'll do matches of the week. And one that really surprised me that I have on my list is Jay White versus Dalton Castle on AEW Collision this past Saturday. I've talked about Jay White before. He's the leader of the Bullet Club Gold, which is probably honestly AEW's best faction right now. Honestly, other than maybe House of Black, like Bullet Club Gold just has everything you want, right? Charisma, they're cool, right? You want to wear their t-shirts, you want to see them on television every week. And Juice Robinson, Jay White, all of them got the swag, you know what I mean? And so yeah, we talked about Jay White before. He's obviously super, super, super talented. Probably needs to be competing for a big time belt pretty soon. But this guy, Dalton Castle, I wasn't as aware of his work, honestly. He's more of a Ring of Honor guy. I'll be honest, I'm not as up to up to snuff as far as knowledge, as far as like the Ring of Honor guys. Like I kind of know like the famous, you know, graduates of Ring of Honor, but I'm not up to date on like who's really killing in Ring of Honor right now or in the past. And this Dalton Castle guy, man, he just exudes like charisma and just the it factor. Honestly, like um, I'd kind of seen his work as far as like his intros. Very so the Dalton Castle. Try to think of like Tyler Breeze or Fandango level of like um you know add a lot of flair to them. They're wearing jackets with a bunch of feathers. He got a bunch of guys out there running out there, very like androgynous, very stuff like that. And so when I saw his stuff, I was like, this is interesting. We've kind of seen it before, but I was like, I wonder what makes him different. And basically, like from the top of the ramp to when he's walking in the ring, he's talking to the camera directly, right? Like, no, not many people are doing that. A lot of people just do it, kind of. You kind of just hear see their mouth moving. But no, Dalton Castle's like legit one to one. I think he does a good job of using every second he has on television to get his point across, right? It's a lot of wrestlers who don't necessarily use their time that they get on TV and they don't take advantage of it all the way. Where he does it from the jump, man. He catches your eye, and so his intro gets you immediately, right? And I'm like, man, this guy's got some it factor. But I'm like, okay, can he wrestle? Right? Is he just one of these flamboyant guys who gets in the ring and can't really go? Bro, he got in the ring. I was like, oh my God, dude's huge. He's jacked. Some of his finishers are all like he's really like one of the suplex guys. What I'm talking about, like the Kurt Angles, the Taz, Brock, Chad Gable, a lot of like suplex heavy. Chris Benoit, suplex heavy guys hit you. Matt Riddle, hit you with a bunch of different types of suplexes, and he's one of those guys, and I love those guys. Those guys got a special place in my heart. You know what I mean? And so I was just really surprised at Dalton Castle's ability to like truly wrestle, like truly get in there and kill it. I guess he was like a former ROH champion, which is a very like prestigious title. A lot of great a lot of great wrestlers have held that title. So, man, Dalton Castle and Jay White, they really went at it, man. Like they let him cook for a little bit, and it was a fun match. Like I didn't see it coming. I knew, I watched the match because of Jay White, but I left the match going, damn, I really like Jay White, but man, this Dalton Castle guy, like now I'm gonna start looking up his past work. Anytime he comes on television now, like I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna, put my remote down and check it out. So yeah, Jay White versus Dalton Castle. The next one, I mean, this was we knew what was gonna happen with this, right? This is like putting two 5-star chefs in a ring and be like, hey, cook a good meal. We had Chad Gable versus Gunther. Like we knew we was gonna get a steak. You know what I mean? A perfect steak. And they delivered, man. And they just both show anytime. And I've talked about this countless times on the podcast, but like no matter who Gunther's with, it doesn't matter who he's with. He's gonna make them look good. And he's gonna make a good quality match. However, the time when Gunther has had match of the year candidates is when the other guy gives him just as much quality like he had with Sheamus last year, right? And what he had earlier this year with Drew and Sheamus at WrestleMania. Well, in this one, you got Gable, one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's just, and he's really good at selling. And it's a great like visual. You're seeing Gunther who's like 6'5", 6'4", 6'5". Chad Gable's pushing 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. And so it was just a great visual to see that, David and Goliath type of aspect. But you always felt it was easy to root for Gable, not only as a character, but just the size differential. But man, they cooked. They really did some cool stuff, did some creative stuff. Um, Gable's really he's not a cruiserweight, but he moves a lot like a cruiserweight. You know what I mean? Like obviously people would probably throw him in the cruiserweight division, but he would throw them little cruiserweights around. Honestly, just his pure power he has. But like he moves like a cruiserweight, so it was fun to see Gunther kind of like stumble around and like try to get his hands on this guy who's like flipping around and not like off the top ropes anything like that, just more like flipping around, spinning around, being really agile on the ground, like technical wise, grabbing at your ankles, grabbing at your knees, jumping on your head, get you in a headlock out of nowhere, And man, like Gable does a great job of selling the chops. I mean, I don't even know if you have to sell Gunther's chops, to be honest. Like, I think Gunther pretty much does the work for you. I don't think you have to sell how hard those hurt, and it was just some really good stuff. The finish was amazing. Finish was extremely creative. Shout out to whoever produced the match. So essentially, they're on the outside, and Gunther's hitting him with the chops. Gunther puts Chad Gable against the ring post, and he's going to chop him, and then Gable moves out the way. Gunther chops the ring post. Obviously, that hurts. He's like dealing with the pain of that for a little bit. Kind of walks backwards into Gable. Gable hits him with the German suplex over the barricade. So it was a really cool, like I haven't seen that before, honestly. Honestly, it was scary, honestly, but they executed it really well. It looked good. Gable runs back in the ring, and there's a count out, right? So Gunther technically loses due to a count out. And so this does a great job of showing that, yeah, Gunther didn't lose clean. He didn't get beat up 1, 2, 3, right? But he did get bested in this matchup, and it showed that Gable can really hang with him, and it justifies the fact that we were going to get a rematch at Payback, the pay-per-view Payback for the Intercontinental title. That's going to be an amazing match because they're going to have even more time to cook, So yeah, Gable versus Gunther match of the week for sure. But I am very much looking forward to that pay-per-view match because they might honestly steal the show. Right now, if I had to pick like match of the night for that pay-per-view so far, the card that we've seen, I'm definitely picking that one number one. I think most people would too. All right. So as far as our topics today, we'll kind of run through them. Nothing crazy went on this past week. However, I have had some stuff on my mind as far as I've been on Twitter and stuff, and I've just seen a lot of like, yeah, and I've talked about this before. I'm a big defender of Rhea Ripley. I will always be. I think she's the most relevant women's champion we've had probably since Becky Lynch, the man era, right? She's relevant no matter who she's going against, no matter if she's defending the title that night or not. Her name is being spoken. She's trending. She's the face of the show. All that. She's present everywhere, and that's what Rhea is right now. She's like top two, three hottest pro wrestlers right now, like in the world. Honestly, just as far as the content and people's her name is on people's mouths. You know what I mean? That's what you want. And so I just see a lot of these like so-called like women's wrestling purists who are like, she doesn't defend the title enough. She doesn't do this. She doesn't do that. And I'm like, okay, what do we want? Like, what is the goal? Is the goal for the title to look good? Is the goal to be around? Is the goal just to have a wrestling match where a wrestling show where the champion doesn't really matter? We're just passing it around to different people who we think deserve at one point or another their turn at the title, right? Do they want a show where we 1 week we hand the world title to Candice LeRae just because she's a great wrestler, and then the next week we hand it to Liv Morgan just because we all, for some reason, they all just love her no matter what, right? She's a great person. She's a good quality wrestler in the ring every now and again, right? Okay, should we hand it over to, you know, Chelsea Green because she's funny? And like, I just feel like sometimes I get frustrated with these fans because like, okay, you don't really want a champion. You just you want everybody to shine, which is respectable, but it's like you're not thinking. And I think that's my biggest problem. I think like a producer, like a CEO first, and then I think like a fan second, right? Because I'm trying. I'm a very logical person. I don't think like a fan first because that's silly to me. Speaking of which, I saw someone talking about how Liv Morgan should win the Royal Rumble, the 2024 Royal Rumble, and main event, one of the nights of WrestleMania. And I responded like, "You're out of your mind. Like you're not thinking clearly. Like that. Like if you're thinking, I'm thinking like you're the person who wrote that is thinking like a stan, right? They're thinking like one of those stan accounts where it's literally Twitter account is dedicated to Liv Morgan. They're thinking like one of those people, right? Like why the hell, if I'm a CEO, if I'm Triple H, if I'm, Nick Khan, all these people, why the hell would I have Liv Morgan main eventing, let alone payback, right? Like, and I said Raw. She did eventually. She did. She has main evented a few Raws before. Shout out to her. And this isn't a point to shit on Liv Morgan. That's not my goal. What I guess I should start here. My main thing with Liv Morgan, I was one of the main people on the Liv Morgan train from like 2019 all the way up to like 2022. I was like, hey, like there's no reason this girl shouldn't be getting a look. Like she's consistent. She has crowd support. She has internet support. She's trending. She has the look. She has all these different things, right? But then that title reign, and I mean, she beat Ronda. She was going up in a program with Ronda, which is hard to do. Not many people have had success. Have came out on the other side of a beef with Ronda and been like, oh yeah, you came out of that feud successful. Like it's hard to do against Ronda. She doesn't give you much to work with. But my thing is like, to me, that exposed a very glaring situation, very glaring issue for Liv, and that's that she isn't a Rey Mysterio. She isn't a Carmelo Hayes. She isn't a Wes Lee. She isn't a person who you're small. And I hate when people just, I'm not the type of person that's usually like, oh, she's small. She should never win. No, like I'm literally advocating for Chad Gable to win the Intercontinental title, right? Like that size doesn't matter. It's more of who the person is. To me, Liv is small, but she's also isn't a great wrestler. She's solid. She's improved. She's gotten better every year. She has. Shout out to her. But like now you're in the big leagues. When y'all talking about her winning the Royal Rumble, now you wilding, right? Because now, okay, we're saying she's gonna beat Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, potentially Io Sky, Asuka, Raquel Gonzalez, Carrie Lane, if she's still there. right? So many, let's just say Tiffany Stratton's in it. Let's say all the wonderful and talented NXT women's division women are in there. Like Liv just ain't there. She's not cutting it there in the ring. Outside of the ring, Liv is a star. We know that. Like she can be just fine, right? But in the ring is my thing. You're saying when you're talking about somebody winning a Royal Rumble, like it's just you gotta be able to and talk about main eventing WrestleMania. You gotta be able to cook. And people are like, well, it should be Liv versus Rhea in WrestleMania, not Becky versus Rhea. And I'm like, what? Like, you're not thinking. You're not thinking. Like, Rhea versus Becky, Prince money, right? That's a matchup that people want to legitimately watch, right? We know there's a 50-50 chance that's going to be a classic. That's going to be a banger. We saw what Rhea did last year, this past year with Charlotte Flair. That was match of the week, match of the weekend, honestly. If not top two, right? Classic. Um, so we know Rhea can do that. Like I've always known Rhea can do that, but she showed it to others on the biggest stage. And so with this whole Liv thing, I'm like, name me a classic Liv match. Name it. Like, please. Like Liv. Okay, let's say Liv does main event. WrestleMania. Let's say Liv beats Rhea Ripley. What the hell is going to happen after that? If she has to face Becky Lynch, Bayley, Bianca, Asuka, Charlotte, again, all the talented roster I just named earlier, she getting her ass whooped. And if she isn't getting her ass whooped, it is unbelievably unbelievable. Like no one's gonna believe that she's on the run, that she's on like, you know what I mean? It's gonna be a 2 week title run, which is like, is that worth it? Is that all we care about now? Is having a Kofi moment, having a Sami Zayn moment? And let's be honest, though Kofi and Sami had a groundswell of support. I mean, you couldn't avoid the level of support they had, and rightfully so. Liv Morgan ain't got that, and I don't think she will have that because we all know there ain't no damn way she has a chance. Like there is no way she has a chance against Becky, any of these women, any of the top tier ones, any of the top tier women, she has no chance. She's just not good enough of a wrestler to hang and to legit. Like if I am Triple H and I have to go to the board of directors and I have to go and investors and they're like, all right, what's your plans for WrestleMania? What you got? I know night two we got Cody versus Roman, big time match, right? We got Gunther versus Brock. We know that's gonna prep money. What you got for your main event on night one? Well, I got Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley, and they're gonna be like, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, Liv who? And I'll be like, Liv Morgan. She's been here for damn near a decade. And the fans are for. I mean, she won the Royal Rumble. Luckily, blah blah blah. Like the investors are gonna be like, you're joking. But you need to fix that now. Where's Becky? Where's all our big names? Where's Charlotte? Where's all the? Do we need to bring back Ronda? You know, like they're gonna have all those type of questions because Liv Morgan just ain't that person. Again, I don't want to shit on Liv. I think she's amazing. I think again, I was a Liv stan, right? She was killing it, and I think she's still killing it. But she just there's levels to this, and that run last year kind of showed. Okay, there's levels to this, and honestly, I think Liv Morgan is the perfect case for I've said it for years, a mid card women's title. Get rid of the tag team titles, replace it with a mid card singles title championship, and use it like the IC title, right? Give it to Liv, let her cook with that. And eventually, if she shows that she's really up there and has improved in the ring, okay, now you can advance to the main event scene. But right now, no, shouldn't be that. So, all right, I'm glad I got on my soapbox with the Liv Morgan thing. Now, I do want to talk about a little bit about Trick Williams in NXT. I just want to pay some, show him some love, man. Trick, honestly, I think I love what they're doing with Trick and the Mellow, Trick Mellow gang. You know what I mean? Them two have been so great together, and I love that they are. I love that we've changed the narrative in wrestling where if for one person to flourish in a group, they have to turn on the other group member to have any success singles wise. Where we've kind of changed that, and I think the New Day was one of the catalysts of this is like you can have single success and still be with your crew that you came up with. And I love to see that Trick Williams is like, hey Mello, you killing it. Mello, you the NXT champion. Respect. You know what I mean? You deserve all that. But I need to go do my own thing right now. Like I'm a big time prospect and I need to, fulfill my potential. And man, like Trick on the mic is just honestly, he's up there with the best of them. Honestly, Trick could go on Monday Night Raw and hang with anybody. Honestly, he can hang with LA Knight. To be honest with you, um, Trick is just funny. His cadence is different. He kind of talks like a old like I don't know if y'all watch like them old like 70s black movies, but like Trick Williams coming at you right now. You know what I mean? Like he like his cadence is very different. It's different than anybody out here. And so that's what kind of stands helps him stand out. Honestly, he has the look. He's like 6'4", yoked, right? He needs to fix his finisher. His finisher's trash. His finisher is literally like a spinning kick. And I hate when big dudes have like unless it's a mean ass big boot, you shouldn't be doing no like kicks like that, bro, as your finisher. You just shouldn't. Like Trick and Mello need to have their finishers changed immediately. But other than that, Trick is a bona fide like stud in the making. So I just wanted to pay homage to him. Like, dude is cooking, man. Dude is cooking, and I'm just happy that he's getting some singles love. His match with Dragunov at Heat Wave, I think, will be really good, and it'll kind of, put him on the map a little bit more as a singles competitor. Like, I think people believe he's good. People know what he can do on the mic. People know his character work. People think he's good in the ring, but like we haven't seen him go up against. Like now he's swimming in the deep waters, right? You're going up against Dragunov. Dragunov got about 15 classics, like 15 bangers, right? Like Dragunov is the person who beat Gunther when he was known as Walter in NXT UK, right? Walter was literally destroying everybody, and Dragunov, defeated him. So Dragunov is as good as it gets in NXT. So I'm excited to see that. But I'm just happy to see Trick really step out and do his thing. Because even when they started, like when Mello and him started, like you knew Mello was a star. Like you knew, okay, Melo's one of them ones. He's next up. Anytime, whenever Raw or SmackDown is ready to call him up, he's a star immediately, right? But you was always like, damn, his sidekick, I guess, in air quotes, Trick Williams is like, he's killing it. And he's amazing on the mic. He's funny. He's all these things. So, you always saw it from the beginning, but now you're starting to really see it flourish all around. You know what I mean? Not only as a character, but as a wrestler too. So I'm happy for Trick Williams. For those that haven't been watching NXT, really check it out, bro. NXT is killing it right now. Like for real. Like I'm dead serious. Like NXT is almost low key more entertaining, at least right now. With the lull we have in the Bloodline storyline, and on Raw we have the same match every week with Judgment Day, Cody and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, like same matches every week. NXT is killing it, bro. They're killing it with developing new stars, but also giving you some classic matches. You know what I mean? So definitely check out NXT. And one of the reasons why I say that is because of my boy Trick Williams, Trick Mellow Gang. Um, I mentioned Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, bro. I need them to either unify the titles and create a new tag team titles. I talked about this in the last episode, but they either need to reunify the titles or split them up. I like Sammy. I like KO. It was a good run, but nah, bro. We got way too many talented tag teams out there. We got the Creed brothers waiting in the wings. We got solid tag teams out here, and honestly, like I just want to see more tag team wrestling. You know what I mean from WWE, and I've said that for years. But I think either split it up. Hopefully, Street Profits, this whole like hurt business thing. Hopefully, we speed that up a little bit, and Street Profits can go ahead and take them titles off of them. Hopefully, but yeah, and I need new title championship designs. Like I need them immediately. Because right now they got them toy tag team titles that look awful. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of it as far as WWE is concerned. I'll quickly talk about a little bit of AEW stuff I've noticed. So, um, for those that don't know, AEW is building up to their big, like, damn near WrestleMania level. Their WrestleMania in All in London, right? That's kind of their WrestleMania level show for them, and it's in Wembley Stadium. It's 80,000 people. It's all this different stuff. Have some solid matches on the card too. Like, but the build hasn't been great. Honestly, it's kind of been kind of sloppy. You've kind of just been waiting week to week, like, okay, what the hell is the Bullet Club going to do? What's the Elite going to do for this? You know what I mean? And it hasn't just been organically. The card hasn't been put together organically. It's kind of just fill in spots and make sure people have random ass matchups like Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho. Like, what? That makes no sense. But they have to have Chris Jericho there, and they have to have Will Ospreay. So they're just gonna put them together just to fill both, check boxes. But I have noticed like a drop off in Collision, in AEW Collision on Saturday nights. Like the first like 4 or 5 weeks, bro, killing. I mean, cooking. But bro, ever since it's kind of just a layover show. It's kind of just been like 5 different squash matches and then a 6-man tag at the end, and that may or may not be great. And then it's just I don't know, and that's kind of what I've noticed with AEW. Overall lately, last couple of weeks, is like I feel like in this build for All In, they've kind of divested from their weekly shows, right? Not even talking about last week, they had a Chainsaw Massacre match, which was silly and awful and stupid. And it just, I don't know. It just seems like for a while there, they were cooking. I mean, it was important matches. It was good matches. It was, the vibe felt like, okay, Collision is more important than Dynamite and Rampage. Like clearly, from the production to the match quality to the layout of the pacing of the episodes, everything. Now I can't quite tell, honestly, and that's unfortunate. I haven't looked at the viewership numbers, but I'm assuming they're not going up. And so yeah, I just want AEW Collision to go back to what it was. You know what I mean? Go back to the early points, and I mean it's still you still have time. I think especially after All In, once they kind of get that out the way, kind of get that monkey off their back, they'll be able to refocus back on like weekly television. Have quality matches, quality stories, long form stories, and they can do their thing. And especially like CM Punk, and not having to build everything around him. Um, but yeah, I hope. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of give him a break until All In, and then after All In, I'm gonna be very critical on what I'm seeing week to week because they definitely got to step it back up. Um, I kind of mentioned that Bullet Club Gold with Jay White, Rock Hard, Juice Robinson, the Gun Club. Man, Bullet Club Gold is they're just dope, man. And honestly, they're one of the main reasons that I even watch Collision. Honestly, at this point, it's in House of Black, but definitely Bullet Club Gold. They're just funny, bro. Rock Hard Juice Robinson is hilarious, and he's fun to watch in the ring. Um, Jay White is fun to watch in the ring. His finisher, the Blade Runner, like it's beautiful to watch. It's basically Bray Wyatt's sister Abigail, but he just does it kind of smoother, and he doesn't take as long to finish it. But and Jay White just looks the part. I mean, Bullet Club Gold, the Bang Bang Gang is just. I've always thought the Bullet Club was cool in general, but to see like not a U.S. version, but kind of the Gold membership group and it's been fun to watch them. And so they're really fun to root for too. Like I think AEW wants them to be heels, but I don't think that's going to last very long. Honestly, like they're probably the best. Again, they're probably the best faction in AEW, which is kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? With the Elite and other teams out, House of Black, a bunch of others out there. You know, Bullet Club is killing it. But just want to show some love to them. But all right, now we will talk about our top five dirtiest players in the game. Right? I love me a good cheater. I love me a good person who can. I always said, bro, if I was wrestling, now I'm a big guy, right? I'm 6'6", 300 something pounds, right? So I couldn't be out here just like cheating, right? I would look stupid. But I'm saying if I was one of these small guys, my gimmick would literally be I'm an escape artist. Like I find a way to win matches. I find a way to get out of things. I find a way out to get out of, you know, submission holds. I always have a plan essentially, right? If I'm in the ring and a faction's coming to jump me, I always have a plan to turn the tide in my favor. To me, that's a very simple gimmick. It's fun. Sort of like with Eddie Guerrero. Like you were always wondering, like, okay, how is he gonna lie, cheat, and steal his way to a victory this week? So I've always had saying all that. I've always had a lot of respect for the villains, the cheaters, especially if you do it in a creative way. And some of these guys that are on my list, definitely did it in a creative way, or they did it in a simple way and did it so well that you just can't deny them. So my number five, one of the top five greatest wrestlers of all time, and I will die on that. My boy Triple H. The game, you got to play the game, man. Triple H, like you knew it was a wrap. You knew that man was about to cheat when that sledgehammer came out. He was about to ding him right on the forehead, toss it out of the ring. Earl Hebner was going to somehow be unconscious during all these during all that action, but somehow wake up when Triple H goes to either pedigree the guy or he's already hit him with the sledgehammer, and Earl Hebner will wake up. 1, 2, 3. Triple H retains the WWE championship, WWF championship. But yeah, Triple H just did a great job, man. Like he either used the sledgehammer or he used the McMahon family to distract The Rock, Stone Cold, whomever, and just somehow find a way to get over on people. And I thought he did it in just a real smooth way, right? He did some low blows, I think, but it was mainly using, things around the ring as far as family, distractions, Stephanie, China. I know early in the days, bro, China will hit you with a low blow in a hot second. You know what I mean? So when Triple H was like, really in that like IC title, area, kind of early DX days, like China will hit you with a low blow, you'd be hurting. You hit you with a Triple H hit you with a pedigree, it's a wrap. So he definitely evolved over the years. Shit, when he was with Evolution, Ric Flair would get in there and cheat. Randy Orton would help him out. So Triple H has been in so many different factions, which automatically lend itself to cheating, right, in your favor, especially when you're a heel faction. But then especially like my man got a sledgehammer over. You know what I mean? Like it's not many people you can say got a piece of weaponry over, with the crowd, and people are like, when I see a sledgehammer to this day, I think of Triple H. Like if my mom, I'll be helping my mom with some house stuff at her house, and she pull out a sledgehammer, I'm grabbing that thing and I'm immediately like like playing how I would hit somebody. So yeah, shout out to Triple H, one of the top five greatest to ever do it. I hate when people make lists for Mount Rushmores and don't include Triple H. It's wild to me. One of the greatest villains of all time. You don't have an attitude era. If you don't have Darth Vader to Luke Skywalker, you don't. You know what I mean? You don't have the attitude era if you with The Rock and Stone Cold. If you don't have a Triple H for them to go up against. Okay, so Triple H number five, dirtiest player in the game. Number four. Now I'm not gonna lie, I debated on leaving this person off the list due to racist, since he's a racist, to be honest. But I was like, hey, I'm gonna leave that out the way this time. Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I'm gonna let that one slide. I'm not gonna let that slide, but for this particular list, I'm gonna omit that particular transgression and his many transgressions. But I just really enjoyed, like, Hulk Hogan. Obviously, is lame. Like, he was boring as hell to watch, and Hollywood was way more fun to watch because I mean, cheated all the time. Like, whether it was these weak ass chair shots or it was like the poke in the eye, the low, he used the low blow. You know what I mean? Distract the referee. He'd use the NWO to come in there and help him out, And I remember he used a taser. Like, homie used a taser, used a whip. The dude was wilding with the type of stuff he was using to keep the world heavyweight title. I mean, Hogan, honestly, he didn't need all that because we all know in the back he refused to let anyone beat him anyways in real life. So that was kind of his main cheating that he did was in the back with booking. Still to this day, I don't know how the hell WCW thought it was a good idea to let a wrestler be have power over his own booking decisions. Right? It's still stupid to me because everything as far as booking was concerned, they had to run by him if it involved him, which is not the case, right? That is not the case, right? That's like a no trade clause in the NBA. Like, yeah, it's a thing every now and again, but it's very rare. So, but Hollywood definitely was a great heel. And one of the main reasons he was a great heel is because he just cheated all the time and he pissed people off. Because you would be like, come on, Sting, you got to beat him. And then he'd cheat. Or come on, Lex Luger, you got to beat him. He'd cheat. Or, you know, plenty of other guys. Really good wrestlers who deserve the title more than him. And he would find a way to cheat. So, and that's part of being a great heel. That's part of being one of the dirtiest players in the game. Number three is one of our only recent guys on the list, and he won our best on the mic bracket. But he might, he's up there, obviously top three in the dirtiest player in the game, and that is MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. I'm better than you, and you know it. Okay, MJF is amazing, bro. He's an amazing heel. Now, I will say he's doing some amazing work right now, as we've broke down on this podcast countless times. He's doing great work right now with Adam Cole's semi babyface, anti hero, whatever you want to call him. But we all know the reason we know those three letters, MJF, is because of his heel work. And that's the man is just top tier, man. He's one of the first guys, and I'm sure there's been others. I'm not like I'd have to dive into my wrestling history, but he's one of the first guys I've seen to use like a ring that he won. He won a tournament. They gave him a ring as his prize, and now he just uses that as a weapon. Right? He puts it in his shorts, breaks it out, boom, punches a guy over the head with the ring. I mean, it's a big ring too. Puts it away, pins him 1, 2, 3. Right. Most people are using brass knuckles. Most people are using belts. Most people are using chairs, whatever. But yeah, I just love the subtle and easy way that he does to cheat. And he found so many different ways to cheat. And it's really fun, man. Watching MJF be a heel is fun, especially in the ring, because he doesn't care. All he cares about is they win. He doesn't care about how he got the win, who helped him get the win, what he needs to use to get the win. He just wants to win. And those type of guys I really enjoy. Number two is probably one of the most creative guys on this list, to be honest, and that's Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero, speaking of making it fun, like no one did a better job of this, of making cheating fun, and making, being one step ahead. And that's what I mean by that gimmick I was talking about earlier. Like, I would love Eddie's lie cheating still obviously has some toxic origins and things of that nature, but for the most part, as far as in the ring, like, I just love, like, even when I'm talking about superheroes or I'm talking about, I love superheroes and things of that nature who are smart, who are a step ahead, who don't who how to prepare for all situations, and that's what Eddie did. Like Eddie, found a way. Okay, I'm gonna distract the ref. I got this chair. I'm gonna beat my dude over the head with it. Maybe we're in a triple threat match. The other guy's standing there. I'm gonna throw the belt at him, and I'm gonna hit the floor with the chair to make it sound like somebody got hit with the chair. Toss it to the second competitor, fall to the ground. Ref turned around and like, "What the hell? Like, why'd you hit them with a chair? Like, you're disqualified." You know what I mean? So he was just always a step ahead, and it was just fun to watch, man. It was entertaining. It was just like, again, week to week, you were like, okay, how is he going to pull this off? Right? It was almost disappointing if he won a match clean. If he won a match with the frog splash, with the three amigos and the frog splash, you were like, I mean, that's cool, but I kind of want to see you, you know, finagle these people into a loss. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, Eddie's one of the best to ever do it. And just, he kind of changed the game and made it to where a heel could get over and be really funny by doing it. He almost turned himself from a heel to a babyface while still cheating, which is extremely rare to do. And number one, it's pretty easy, right? It's literally why this top five is called the dirtiest player in the game, dirtiest players in the game, and that's because Ric Flair, right? He kind of changed the game, man. He went from town to town, territory to territory, cheating, doing whatever, using the four horsemen, whatever he could use to end up with a victory. Oh, that man would hit you with a low blow in a hot second, man. A stiff low blow too. Like he not hitting you in the hot hip. He going all the way through. You know what I mean? Field goal good, and so um yeah, he's just the poke in the eye, the thumb in the eye, the scratching of the eyes, you know what I mean? Putting his hands into your mouth, and like it was just different stuff he did, man, that was so good. You know, he put your head over the ropes and like try to choke you and hold it. You're only supposed to hold it till 4 seconds. He keep holding it, and he just invented. And there was always heels before him. I'm sure he was heels that he drew inspiration from. But at some point, like, it starts and stops with him. Right? He took it to a whole nother level. He just made it really a creative thing, a thing that if you're a kid wanting to be a pro wrestler, like, this is something you can nerd out about. Is nerd out about winning matches in a villainous way. And Rick really started that. And yeah, man, Ric Flair, dirtiest player in the game. Pretty simple. That's a pretty easy one, but yeah, let me know you guys top fives. If I left anybody off, is there anybody you could think of? There were so many. Ted DiBiase, William Regal with the brass knuckles. You know, shoot, The Rock, The Rock, heel, Stone Cold, major cheaters. Edge and Christian, major cheaters. So many great choices here, but this is definitely my definitive top five dirtiest players in the game. But yeah, again, hit me up. It's on. We now have Instagram. We have at the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast, or it's at the League of Melanated Gentlemen pod. Hit us up. Look us up. You can hit us up there. Hit us up on our Facebook group, or on Twitter. Hit us up, man. Let me know what your top five is. Let me know if you have any issues with or any ever want to discuss, some of my thoughts. I'm always willing to talk. I'm always willing to go back and forth with you. I always want to smoke, especially when it comes to wrestling and superhero stuff, whatever. I'm always down for good conversation, good debate. So, but definitely hit me up again at WorldWide Willis. And yeah, I appreciate you listening. And I also appreciate those who have checked out the episodes on YouTube. Recently, we had a really good viewership on our latest episode regarding the bloodline. I really do appreciate that. So keep tuning in, like, subscribe, do all that stuff they say on, all the Twitter, all the YouTube people say, as Jordan would say. But again, appreciate you tuning in. We out. Yeah.